Welcome to Flipped Grammar Classroom, Lesson 53, Quotations. Please turn to Lesson 53, page 236 in your grammar book. In our blue Learn box, we are learning the difference between a direct quotation and an indirect quotation. A direct quotation is when you are quoting a speaker's exact words. This is when we see quotations with words like said, asked, exclaimed, and words that tell who's talking. A direct quotation is a speaker's exact words, and you always enclose a direct quotation in quotation marks and capitalize the first word of what they are saying. The sample on page 236 reads, Mom said, and notice we have a comma, and then the quotations, Monday is Dad's birthday, period, end quotations. We use a comma to separate a direct quotation from the rest of the sentence. If the quotation comes at the end of the sentence, then you place the comma before the quotation mark. If the quotation comes at the beginning, you place the comma inside the end quotation mark. So in the first sample sentence here, we read, Joe said, comma, quotation mark, let's make Dad a gift, period, quotation. In this case, the direct quotation came at the end of the sentence, so the comma went before the quotation. So let's look at that rule again. When the quotation is at the end of the sentence, place the comma before the quotation mark. So in this sample, Eli said, comma, and then our direct quotation, the city is busy today, end quotation. In the second sample sentence, the quotation comes before the said part of the sentence. So the quotation comes in the beginning. Let's make Dad a gift, Joe said. In this case, we replace the period at the end of the quotation with a comma inside of the quotation mark, and we write Joe said at the end of the sentence, putting a period at the end of the sentence. This is only done when there is a period at the end of the direct quotation, that we change the period from a period to a comma. So one more time, let's review this rule. When the quotation comes at the beginning of the sentence, you place a comma inside the end quotation in place of the period. For example, we are going to the computer lab, comma, quotation, said Zoe, with a period at the end. Now that we know what to do when a direct quotation ends in a period, let's look at what to do if the quotation is a question or an exclamation. If the quotation, the direct quotation, is a question or an exclamation, do not use a comma. Instead, place the question mark or exclamation mark inside the quotation marks. Always place a question mark and an exclamation point inside the quotation, no matter if the quotation comes at the beginning or the end of a sentence. In the sample here, it reads, let's make him a painting. The exclamation point is inside the direct quotations. Then it says, exclaimed Gina, with a period at the end. So notice the exclamation point is inside the direct quotation, inside the quotation marks. Then we have exclaim Gina with a period at the end. Let's take a closer look at this. I've written the same direct quotation, but I've put it both at the beginning and end of the sentences. So we have, "This is a blast," Jessica exclaimed. The quotation comes at the beginning, and we have an exclamation inside the quotation, followed by Jessica exclaimed, period. Then we have Jessica exclaimed, comma, quotation, "This is a blast," exclamation, quotation. Now let's look at it with a question mark. We have Aiden. Aiden asked, "Where are we going?" Notice the direct quotation comes at the end of the sentence. And since it's a question mark, the question mark goes inside of the quotation. A comma comes before the quotation. When Aiden asked in the second sentence, the direct quotation comes at the beginning of the sentence. Where are we going? Question mark, quotation. We do not need a comma here. Aiden asked. We do need a period at the end of the sentence. Write down at least one object you see on my shelf. We're at the point that reads, if a quotation is divided, put each part in quotation marks. If the second part of the divided quotation continues the first part, begin it with a small letter. So in our sample sentence, it is a direct quotation from Mom. The sentence reads, "A painting," said Mom, "would be the perfect gift." So Mom's full sentence, Mom's full thought is, a painting would be the perfect gift. Since this quotation is divided into two, but it's the same thought, the second part of the quotation does begin with a lowercase letter, which is not what we are used to when working with quotations. So the sentence once again reads, quotation, "A painting, comma, quotation, said Mom, comma, quotation, lowercase w for would, be the perfect gift, period, quotation." So we have double use of commas because in this case, the quotation comes at the beginning of the sentence and at the end of the sentence. I am sure many of you have seen this use of quotations where a thought is divided into two parts in some of the books that you read. As you're reading tonight or tomorrow, keep a close eye out for this and see if you can spot it. I bet you can. So once again, let's take a closer look at this. Our original sentence reads, "Hey you, let's go to the park today." Now let's have Maddie say it, and let's have Maddie say it in two different pieces. "Hey you," said Maddie, "let's go to the park today." Notice we have a comma before the quotation, and we have a comma inside the quotation. "Let's practice direct quotations," said Miss Rubenstein. She demanded, "Please get out your paper and pen." Write the following direct quotations correctly. Finally, let's take a look at indirect quotations. An indirect quotation does not give the speaker's exact words. This is when you are telling someone what someone else has said. So in this case, you do not use quotation marks. I'm going to repeat that. You do not use quotation marks for an indirect quotation. So if you were telling your brother something that your sister told you, you would not put her words in quotations because it is not her talking. You would say, "Sister said we can't go in her room." If sister had really said that, it would be, "Sister said you cannot go in my room." So let's look at the sample in the book. They have a direct quotation that says, "Mom said," comma quotation, because this is what mom really said, "try to shop wisely." Now it becomes indirect if you are telling someone what mom said, like your brother or your sister. The indirect quotation would not use quotation marks, and it would read, "Mom said we should try to shop wisely." You are just restating mom's words, but not directly quoting her. Miss Rubenstein said we should all practice indirect quotations, so let's take out our pen and paper. See you next time on Flipped Grammar Classroom.